Welcome to SimplifyEm Property Management Software. The customer support team and I would like to ensure you success with our program. That being said, software can sometimes be a little overwhelming, but we are here to make the onboarding process easy. I first want to start off with setting expectations. On the agenda today, we'll talk about connecting with customer support, the property management business model, discuss the onboarding timeline, then we'll start the training. To connect with customer support, we offer text message support Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. Pacific Time, live phone support with those same hours, email support is 24/7, and support is extended to tenants, owners, and vendors for free. So we all know businesses are different, but we like to share the property management business model with everyone to give an idea when specific tasks need to be completed. And again, this is just a model. So the 1st through the 5th of every month, everyone collects rents from tenants. Then, from the 6th through the 10th, it's time to send late rent notices and collect more rent from tenants. The 11th through the 15th is generally when everyone pays their owners and send owner statements. The 16th through the 20th is when to pay all of your vendors. And last, the 21st through the 30th is to catch up on anything that wasn't completed. Next is the onboarding timeline. So this gives you an idea of what to expect in each training session. Learning software can be overwhelming, so we break it up into 3 training sessions. That way you have time to digest everything that was covered. Each training session builds upon the last, so it's best to go slow to build a good foundation. We recommend to watch one video at a time and set up your account based on what you have learned from the video. Each video will walk you through step by step. So this first training session will cover adding properties, tenants, leases, online payments, setting up bank accounts, updating your profile information, inviting sub-users, and setting up tenant screening. The second training session will cover the Owners tab, Vendors tab, Banks tab, Tasks tab, and Automation. And the last training session will cover rental advertising, online applications, online leases, renter's insurance, the activity center, and advanced tips. So that's everything for the presentation, and now we can get started with the training. So at the top, we have the navigation bar, and we'll focus on these 3 tabs for this first training. The first step is to set up a property. I'll say that this is 123 Main Street. You can also enter in a city, state, and zip. Next, select a property type. And under that, enter in the owner's name. So if you're the owner, enter in your name or the company name. Let's say I manage for a guy named Bob. I'll put his name here. Next, continue. And this next page is where you check mark the income and expenses on the property. If most of the expenses are the same across all properties, then we recommend creating a template so you can simply apply the template to future properties. So click on Create a Template. And we have the expense categories on the left. There's items already listed. You can rename any of these items. You can also add new items as well. I'll go ahead and check mark a couple as an example. Then Save Template. Then Apply Template. Now we can see those items have been check marked already. You can also edit the template as well. And for income, we're tracking rents received for 2 tenants. When you're ready, go to Worksheet. We get this pop-up, and this is where you want to enter in your name or company name, and that will appear on the reports and notices. I'll enter in a company name. Let's say that this is ABC Company. And right below, you want to enter in a phone number. Then save my information. So on the property worksheet, on the top right, we have this drop-down menu. This is where you'd select the property for data entry. We have a 3-month preview. We have our income rows at the top, and then below our expenses. The next step is to add a tenant, so I will click on Add Tenant. Let's say that this is tenant Tom Jones. You can select the specific unit that the tenant lives in. You can enter in their email, phone number, write any notes, upload any documents. Next, continue. And this next page is where you want to enter in the lease information. So I'll leave it as fixed term. I'll leave it as the start date and the end date. I'll say it's monthly. I'll enter in an amount due on the 1st. Right below, you can enter in your late fee information and keep track of a security deposit, and then save. So now we're back on the property worksheet. We can see the tenant Tom Jones has been added. He lives in Unit 1, and we can see he's overdue in red. If I hover my mouse on the overdue, then we can see that he still owes for February's rent. Let's say he paid. I'll simply enter in the amount, and now it gets changed to paid in green. If you wanted to add more notes to the transaction, click on the calendar icon, details, and enter in notes in the notes box. I'll say dropped off at the office. You can also select a payment type and enter in a check reference number, then save. And right below we have the expenses, and I'll enter in some random amounts. And if you wanted to upload a receipt or an invoice, simply click on the document with the paperclip icon to do so. So next to the tenant's name, there's this white arrow button. If I click on it, we get this drop down. And the first option is to invite the tenant for online payments. So click on the button, and then you'll get a pop-up. So the first step is to enter in the tenant's email address if you haven't already. Right below, we can see the lease information. If you need to edit that, you can do so. And right below, we have the payment settings. You can allow one-time payment, control who's covering the transaction fee. Next, continue. At the top here, you can see the message that will be sent to the tenant, and then there's a special link for the tenant to set up the account. You can also CC yourself on the email. When you're ready, set up and send invite. And the next step is to add your bank account. So start with the account name. Enter in a bank name. And enter in a routing, bank account number. Check mark that you read and agreed to the terms and conditions, and then add. In 1 to 2 business days, you will receive 2 small deposits to verify your bank account. So click on Add Bank Account, and the system will add it. And on the property worksheet, we can see Invite to Tenant Pending. And when you receive the 2 small deposits, you can verify the bank account by going under the Tenants tab at the top, and then Tenant Center. And you want to enter in the two small deposits in this green box. You'd simply enter in the amounts where it says deposited amount 1, deposited amount 2, and then verify account. If you have more than one bank account for online payments, you can add more bank accounts. If we scroll down, we can see that we added tenant Tom Jones. At the top, we have this tenant details widget. At the bottom, we have deposit account, and then click on change deposit account to add more bank accounts. Create a new bank account, and then OK, and enter in the bank information. Next is inviting employees or assistants as sub-users, and they can have their own login email and password. So click on Account Settings, Sub-User Accounts, Create New Sub-User Account. Enter in their email at the top left, and then their name on the right. And at the bottom left corner, you can also CC yourself, and then click Next. On this next page, you can control the access at the top, so you can allow bank access or automation access. You can also allow access to all properties. And you can also manually checkmark each property. And at the bottom, you can control the access for future properties. When you're ready, set up and send invite. Now the invitation has been sent. Last is tenant screening. We'll go to the Tenants tab at the top, and then click on Tenant Screening Center. There is a one-time setup fee of $60, and it covers the required on-site inspection. The inspector is looking for a locking filing cabinet and a paper shredder. Once that has been completed, then you'll be able to run the reports in your account. For $19.95, you'll get a background check, credit check, and Social Security validation report. And then for $5 more, an eviction search. To apply for tenant screening, simply follow the steps on this page and then checkmark I accept the terms and conditions and then submit. So that's everything for this first training session. We recommend finishing adding in the rest of your properties, tenants, leases, and inviting tenants for online payments, and applying for integrated tenant screening. When you've completed all of these steps, then we recommend moving on to the second training session video.